You're now listening to episode 12, Style of Play Football, with myself, Theo, as always. Kojo, man, what you saying?
I'm not proudly wearing this current shirt down right now. So yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Do you know what? I think I said it on here a couple of weeks ago, man. I'm not letting football ruin the mood, ruin the vibe. Win, lose or draw, man. I'm just here now. I'm just here. I expect us to lose, so I'm not even too bothered when we do now. It's just one of them things. But we're gonna get into all of that, man. We're gonna get into all of that. But before we do all of that, please go to the YouTube channel. Please go to the Spotify, the Apple Podcast. Make sure you go and listen over there as well. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share the videos, and follow all the social accounts as well. But there's only one place really to start, I think, this week. I don't know if you know about this, but in Turkey, it kicks off. Referees getting punched around by the presidents of the club. I spoke about this earlier actually with someone else. I want to get your views though on, do you feel that, and not that it's right, I'm not even trying to get to that point, but just the fact that it seems to be a lot of accepted behaviours, especially not just in other leagues, in this league as well in England, but for a president of a club to come onto the pitch and punch up a referee, it's a bit mad out there. So what's your thoughts on it, first of all? I don't know if you've got to know much about the story, but just in terms of what happened and the aftermath of that as well.
Firstly, I think you got to ban that guy for life. I don't know if that includes making sure that he sells the club, but I think you just got to ban him from ever being near a full pitch ever again. That's assault. That's criminal. That's criminal intent. And it needs to be taken, like when I say seriously, I'm talking, I would not blame the referee for pressing charges. I think the Referees Association in Turkey got to back him as well on that. Because you just can't, just anyway, if you talk about even NBA, Draymond Green's now been suspended indefinitely for punching, I forgot the guy's name.
Yeah, see.
For the Phoenix Suns, forgot the other basketballer's name. But that's the right course of action, because once he's suspended indefinitely, you figure out the next move about how far you take this punishment, because he's assaulted an opponent. But this is not a player assaulting a player. It's not a player having a tussle with a player on the pitch. This is an owner running onto a football pitch and physically assaulting a referee, an authoritative figure on the football pitch. That's not right. So, yeah, I think you got to do that. But I will also say this. I don't know if I said it to you on this show or I said it somewhere else, but it's very unfortunate that I've had to say it, but I'll say it again. There was always going to come a time where a more high-profile case of a referee being assaulted by someone, whether they are part of a club or a fan, was going to happen. Me and you both know Stel. On his show, This Is Mappa, many times they've spoken about the fact that in Cyprus, there's been car bomb threats on referees' cars in the past already. So this seems, in comparison, a bit tame, because a car bomb is insane. But this was going to happen, and it will continue to happen, because, not to blame the referees, but people and fans and clubs take or have been allowed to sort of now challenge the authority that referees have in the game now. Everything now must be, but why do you go to the next stage? Like in this sport where you can hear everything the referee's saying, like in rugby, or no, football's different from rugby, football's different from tennis, it's different from every sport. Referees should have authority on the pitch and it should be respected. Even if you disagree with a decision, you got to learn how to move on with it, because decisions are made. So whatever decision he made in the game that you disagreed with, it doesn't give you the right to go out there and punch him in the face, followed by millions of people attacking him on the football pitch, kicking and punching him. No, it's not on. It's not on.
I agree with you 100%. I think it's setting a bad precedent as well, because I feel it's. I've always said this about. I remember not too long ago bringing it back to Midlands derby, Birmingham versus Villa. A fan ran on and punched. I'm not even smiling because I think it's funny, but punched Jack Grealish in the face. And I've always said that for a club president to do that, it's opening a massive door to allow fans to do the same. I know there's been issues before. I think Fenerbahce's bus got sharp not too long ago, on the way to, I think it was a Champions League game actually, or I think I might have got that wrong. I'm sure it was like a European competition game. And it's opening this door to allow fickle fans to come in and voice their anger through violence on the pitch.
Yeah.
Remember, half of these stadiums, they got security, they got stewards in the crowd. They're not trained to de-escalate certain things like that. Or, how many times have you been to a football ground and the man says, "Oh, God, I just need to search you," and they literally pat you down very, very briefly. You could have anything in your pocket, in your socks, your arms, whatever. So there's going to become a point, I think, where sadly we'll be talking about something where it's not just a punch, and it could be someone with a gun. I think there was a manager, or I'm sure there was another president or a chairman that had a gun not too long ago in another league, chasing down like one of the officials. You're going to see a point at some point where there's going to be a fan that thinks it's okay because their team's lost 1-0 or their team got hammered 6-0, they can go on and stab someone in the chest with a knife. It's going to happen. It's going to happen because there ain't no security protocols in place for fans. And like you said, the refs, they get things wrong. Yeah, they might make the wrong decision, or they might, do something that goes against what you think is the right call in the game. But you can't walk down the street and punch someone. So the same rules have to apply when a man's in it. Don't forget, he's at work. The referee's doing his job. He's at work. So someone walks into your office and punches you in the face, blindsides you as well. Do you know what I mean? You can't. You're not going to sit there and take that. So I just think it sets up a massive opening of a door that I don't think people are ready for. But it's gonna take someone to die or someone to be badly injured, for someone to take things seriously. Because I've been to matches, I know that people sneak things into the ground. So do you know what I mean? I've seen it. So it's dangerous, man. Yeah. Very, very dangerous. I did find it funny though, to put a bit of a comical spin on here. I did find it funny. The ref was the day after was in the hospital with a neck brace on. Now you got to give him his credit, man, because he knows he needs to get the payout, and he wants the payout, and he wants to make sure that he's compensated properly. So he has to put the neck brace on. To be fair, his eye was rash up, so I credit him for that, man. And you have to give him his due there because he done the right thing. But hopefully we don't see more of that. I think if we, you don't want to be, like I said, we're making a bit of fun, light joke of it, but you don't want to see it get to a point where someone's losing their life, or, do you know what I mean? Even you don't want to see none of that. But let's bring it back to the joys of English football. There's a massive game coming up this Sunday. I can't wait for this one, actually. I'm gonna bring it straight there. We're gonna talk about, as you can see, if you're watching on the YouTube version of this podcast, Kojo has his United top on. Shamefully, after what's been an abysmal couple of weeks for you and for me, we're gonna get on to Chelsea. Don't worry about that. But United at the moment, is this D-Day, doom day looms for Eric Ten Hag? If you do not get a win against Liverpool, bearing in mind, I think their capacity for this game on Sunday is going to increase to 57,000. Anfield Road, upper tier, will be open for this game. Just putting that out there. But
of course it was. Of course,
of course, man. Yeah, of course. Come on, they want to see the sacking in full effect. But in all seriousness, is this a time now for, after the defeat midweek as well? Is this time now for Eric Ten Hag to either get the win or to walk out the door?
For me, it's not even about getting the win, because I don't expect United to win. He just needs to make sure we don't get embarrassed. And that's as far as, because that 7-0 still lingers. It still lingers. No matter what anyone says, it's still lingering, man. To this day, on the Free Midfield TikTok, I haven't done a TikTok since that game, and that still gets likes and views here and there because people know. See, the thing is, with Ten Hag, I'm not Ten Hag out, but my patience is running thin because I don't think he helps himself. Bro, you know it, just like anybody else does. When you go to a team and you're a new manager, whether it's mid-season or whatever, that team is not your team from the get-go. It's not. Unless you make some drastic changes within that team, like Ange did. You don't see Dyer starting games anymore. You don't see Højbjerg starting games unless there's no one else available. Like, he's made immediate changes. Sar's in there straight away. Kulusevski's playing as a 10 now. Brennan Johnson, you know what I mean? Like, there's intent behind it. So whilst I would say it's not his team yet, he's made enough drastic changes that he can play his style of football. Ten Hag's not doing that. And because you're not doing that, if you're going to use the same players that have not worked under a different style or a similar style, obviously yours, you've got to find a way to win. And you're not doing it. I don't think it's a case where you should do everything that the players need. At the same time, when you know you've got a whole squad that just doesn't work with the philosophy that you want to play, you got to find another way to get results, and he's not doing that. So that's where my gripe is, and that's where you're losing games like Bournemouth and all that. Now, you shouldn't really have to, do much. With all due respect to Bournemouth, but you shouldn't have to do much when you're at home, when you're Man United, to beat Bournemouth. But to lose 3-0, which, by the way, we've conceded 3 goals, I think, 5 times at Old Trafford this season. We've lost 7 games at Old Trafford already this season. We've lost 12 overall this season already. We're out of the Champions League, didn't even make Europa League. Bro, it's getting bad. It's getting bad. So, and I'm not one of those credit in the bank guys. I'm sorry. You don't want to finish third last year. You won the Europa League. No, not Europa League, the Carabao Cup. But it's a new season, my guy. I need something else. So yeah, Liverpool's gonna be peak. I'm just hoping it's not 7-0. I'm hoping it's a draw. I would love a win, but I'm hoping it's a draw. But if we're gonna lose, no more than by like a 2-goal margin. Anything else, I think it's looking a bit tough for him, man. I don't know.
I think you're right. I personally think that it is sackable form. 100%. I said the same about Pochettino. My only thing with United is, I think with this sort of change at the top as well, with Jim Ratcliffe coming in, I think that's kind of keeping him in a job a little bit longer. I do think there's a bit of element of that in there, but I think a win has to. I think he does need to get a win. I'll be honest. I think I've said the pressure's been building. The Bournemouth result never helped him at all. Not just the result. I think the performances, and I always say this as well when I see managers struggling. It's not about losing the game. It's the manner in which you lose that game, or you don't change things within that game to at least give you an opportunity to try and get something out of it. I'm seeing it week in, week out at Chelsea. So I just think he had, like you just said then, if your style of play, the way that you're trying to get this team to play isn't working, you have to change something. You have to go against what you believe is the right way and just try something different. Because if you don't, ultimately, the manager's going. The players, yeah, they come and go. Contracts expire. People move on, whatever. But the manager's the first one that people point the finger at. You might not even be at fault. You could look at maybe, Anthony hasn't done what he's supposed to be doing in that squad. You could probably argue that Martial at times hasn't done what he's supposed to do. Rashford has had good parts of his career at United, but then there's a lot of times where he goes a bit missing as well. So, you could add a lot of players into there. Do you know what I mean? And I think obviously Rasmus Højlund is coming on a massive expectation with the fee and everything. I don't think he's got a Premier League goal yet, but you know that it's going to click for him one day. But it kind of needs to happen now for the price that he's been coming for.
But this is all an effect of decisions made by the manager. When he came in, the one thing that still baffles me to this day was the whole benching randomly of Ronaldo.
Yeah.
To this day, I still don't understand it because, like, you came in and you got asked a very stupid question in a press conference: "Is what does Ronaldo bring to your team?" And you were like, "I mean, come on, goals. Like, what kind of question is that?" Because it's a stupid question. But then you don't use your premier goal scorer on a crusade to show authority. You can show authority and start him. If he's not showing levels, then cool, whole bench.
Yeah, of course.
Very simple. But if from day one you benched him, said he's out of the team, and then you continue to do that, the one game you get him onto the pitch after about 10 minutes because Martial, of course, got injured. He scored the winner for you and had a good game. You say he didn't press. Martial doesn't press. Rashford doesn't press. Sancho doesn't press. Anthony doesn't press. Weghorst, you thought would press. Bregor didn't press for you well either. Like, there's been a continuation thing. He's done some good things, but the negative things that he's did are now starting to catch up with him. And I'm not saying Ronaldo would have been the saviour for Man United. What I'm saying is, if you bring someone like Højlund in, I'm from the old school. Let the young guy develop, because he wasn't even starting at Atalanta. Atalanta was easing him in, and you came with a mega bid and said, all right, cool, he's going to be our number one striker. But how? How are you doing that, Andrew?
True.
Again, it could be Man United not backing the manager in the market as well. There is that conversation. But as far as I'm concerned, from what I see, you're not doing what you can to maximize the results. So he's got to blame. He's got to get some blame as well. The team sucks, but he's culpable. He's very culpable.
I think, and I do agree with you. That whole sort of, is the manager being backed or not? I do agree with that. But I also think as well, that excuse only goes so far for so long. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel Bournemouth is a game that I hate using this term, but on paper, United should win that. United have got players in that team that should be winning that game, and that's just a given. Even in the midweek game, you could say that the pressure was on the players or whatever else, but still, it's a game that, you know, you should still be playing a particular level that the manager wants you to play in. Has he been backed or not? That's a clearly, people will say that he hasn't. Some people say that he has, but club spent money, so you could say that he's been backed to an extent. But I just think that, I don't know. I remember obviously Mourinho saying 5 years ago and talking. I don't remember that the press conference that he done, and he literally broke it all down for the press people and told them exactly what it was and all of that. Do you remember? And 5 years, I think it was 5 years ago, and 5 years on from that, you could run that press conference now, and it would probably still have or warrant almost the same respect that it did at the time when he said it. So
football heritage.
So for me, I think the worry for me now for United anyway is if you do sack him, which I don't think he will, but there has been a lot of talk, especially the last couple of days with Graham Potter's name being mentioned and others amongst that as well. But if you do sack him, it goes back to what I've been saying to Chelsea fans and to other fans as well for other clubs is when you sack the manager, you're resetting the whole project back to zero, effectively.
Yeah.
So you do that. You effectively have to then look at the players that does Potter or whoever comes in. Does he want all these players? Has he got a list of his own players? Does he want to bring in his own backroom staff? Does he want to do this? It's all everything. It's just, to me, it's just messy to do that. And with someone like Graham Potter even linked with that job in itself, someone's smoking fentanyl somewhere, because that guy, how do you go from getting sacked at Chelsea to even being in a conversation? Even in the conversation of being, I might be in contention for the United job. Do you know how big that United job is? It's bigger than Chelsea, you know?
Bro, I'll be very honest here. This is why I complain about football right now, you know. Football's all about ideas and never what the manager will actually bring to a team. Like, this is why, I'll be very honest, when we were linked with Pochettino and Ten Hag, the reason why I wanted Pochettino above Ten Hag, and the reason why I said to you, I think, in one of the early episodes, that I think if you swap them around, you'd actually get better results, is because Pochettino's style of football is a lot more direct and a lot more compact and, you know, sort of stricter. So that structure would help these current club players, Man United, because they need just straight direction. Whereas if you give Ten Hag younger players that seem like they can play a lot more of a possession, tiki-taka style brand of football, build up from the back, the squad makes a lot more sense at Chelsea than it does at Man United. So that's why I was beating that drum. But I don't know, man. I don't know. At this point, I'm just flipping tired. Just tired.
And with no further more said on that, we're going to move on to Chelsea. Lovely Chelsea. No, to be fair, I'm looking forward to the game. We'll do the predictions on the United-Liverpool game or Liverpool-United game near the end of the podcast. But talking about Chelsea is something that now I'm happy to talk about. People keep saying to me, you know, Chelsea this, Chelsea that. I know where we are. I know what mid-table team we are. I know where the expectations are, the club and the ownership. So, but with Chelsea, I just feel that. I mean, let me get your thoughts first. I want to know what you think about Chelsea first. Actually, I know what I think already. I say it every day.
Yeah. What do I think about Chelsea? I'll say it again. I said it to you before, man. This is a long project, man. Thing is, this is a unique situation that I don't think people have considered, because everyone just wants to do the whole, I told you about Pochettino kind of thing. No. The way Chelsea has changed in a year and a half is insane. You were forced to sell, your owner was forced to sell the club. Your new owner started just bringing in players just for the sake of bringing in players. So the old manager didn't even have a system that he could have worked with in the first place anyway. So that didn't work out. You brought this other guy in Pochettino. You added more players in, and probably the best signing out of the lot got a serious injury as soon as he joined the club. He's in a very tough spot. And the players that you have on the pitch on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis are still getting to know each other. They're still very new to each other. And quite frankly, if I'm being honest, it's going to come a time where a lot of these players won't be there anymore because some of them are not good enough, or they won't be good enough. But that's for the manager to be able to give time to build his team. That's why I talk about 3 years. Pochettino and Chelsea were not going to be a one-year job. And I didn't even predict a position for you guys because I didn't know if you're going to click straight away and go straight into a European battle, or if you're going to have another poor year and just finish around mid-table. It just depends on what the players want to do. But quite frankly, you can see some of the players are on here, some of them are not. You can see that already. So hands are tied, man. It's peak for him. And he probably will get sacked, but I just don't think that's going to be fair. It's a tough one. Chelsea, it's not an easy job right now. Any manager that comes in needs about 3-4 years, in my opinion, before I say, yeah, now the pressure's on. Until then, I think you're going to have to ride it out, my guy. I'm sorry, you guys have to ride it out.
Man said you gotta eat that one, you gotta hold that one still.
You gotta hold it.
No, but you know what? I do agree to an extent, but I think for me, my worry as a Chelsea fan is that there isn't even little progress being made. I'm not saying we should be competing or challenging or winning, week in, week out, but this team is so unbalanced and it's almost like building the upstairs of your house, but you haven't even built downstairs. Do you know what I mean? I can't really do it. I'll try and explain that. So bringing all these youth players before you even had the manager that you wanted in place at the start of that, or even the people to make those decisions in terms of the recruitment strategy weren't even in place. So half these players came in just off the whim of data, analytics and all the rest of it. But the people that they wanted in to win Stanleys and all of that, they weren't even in the job. Joe Shields and all that, they weren't there.
Yeah.
So they came in after. Then we signed more players in terms of like Lavia, Caicedo, Nicholas Jackson and Kunku, kind of in between that as well. But what we've done is we've removed, and I don't agree that these players should have stayed, but we've removed the likes of Azpilicueta, Kante, Kovacic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, players that they're not up to the. I'm not saying that they're good enough to be at the club or challenge or whatever, but it's a massive spine that's regular to playing week in, week out of each other. They understand each other. You look at Reece James now, he's injured again. So all of that removed, and then you brought in all this young potential. I love that word now, potential, because we don't even know what level that some of these players are going to hit. They could be championship players for all we really know. No disrespect to a championship player, but we don't know. We brought them on the idea that they're going to be world class or they're going to be in that bracket of pushing top. Do you know what I mean? They're going to be there or thereabouts to be able to challenge for the league with Chelsea, but there's no guarantee of that. Some of these players are on 7, 8 year, 6 year deals. I'm glad they've changed that so you can only, I think it's capped now to 5. It's been agreed by the Premier League, but they're on big wages as well. So I hear a lot of Chelsea fans all the time say, let's move these players on. Let's get rid of that player. Some of these players have come in. They might be on still like 160, 180. That's still a lot of money for a player that's like, people are talking about getting rid of Zazi already at the club. We just signed him in the summer. Madueke, another one. Who do you think's coming in when I think Gusto's played 8 games. He was on the list of players that might go in the summer. Or he's featured 8 times for Chelsea. So who's coming in off the back of 8 games? Some of them he's come on as a sub. Who's going to come in and buy him? And bearing in mind, we don't want to make a loss on these players that we've just brought in. So I'm trying to explain this to people and they go, oh yeah, but we can just go and get Victor Osimhen and we can get this player and that. And I'm trying to say like, yeah, that's great in principle, but we've just spent over the last 2 windows, say £800 million or 960 or something stupid like that. So people are saying, oh yeah, but it's capped on this and we've done the wages like this and blah. Yeah, that's great, but I'm just trying to explain to Chelsea fans on this podcast that just wake up, because we're not competing. Like you just said then, that 4-year plan, for me, you have to stick with Pochettino now and you have to stick with these players that you've brought in due to the data and the analytics that they told you they were going to be amazing. You have to see it through now. You can't rip up £1 billion project, which is what it is at the moment. This could creep into the 3 billion by the end of the 6-year project where you'd expect to see some sort of trajectory, but you can't rip up £1 billion. You want to rip up £1 billion worth of players and start from scratch? Where did they do that? They don't do that anywhere. So
can't do that.
The results have to come quickly on the pitch. We've got Sheffield United at the weekend. If we lose to them, I'm gonna go mad. I'm sorry. I'm gonna flip everything that I can see in front of me. Everything is getting flipped over. because the Everton game was a breaking point for me where I knew we were going to lose, and the United game was, I mean, we didn't record thankfully that week, but that United game, I said on the other podcast I do, was probably the worst Chelsea performance I've watched in over 30 years. And
that's not bad.
That's not even an exaggeration.
You guys were really bad. You guys were really bad. Apart from one moment where you should have scored. No names.
We'll name and shame that Nicholas Jackson had the chance. He had the chance, man. I'm sorry. That guy, and I hear what people were saying about Sterling passed the ball behind him and blah, blah, blah. Nah, man.
No, he didn't.
Nah, man. I'm not having that. Even if he did do that, listen, there's strikers out there. You could pass the ball behind them or pass it too early or pass it too late. They're still putting that in the back of the net. I'm sorry. Like, I can't defend him anymore. I can't defend him. I won't defend him. But this is why I don't talk about Chelsea, because I can feel I'm getting hot in here recording, man. I'm going to get mad. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on from Chelsea quickly. I do want to talk about, as you can see, the backdrop of this, if you're watching on YouTube, Anfield is in the background. I do want to talk about Liverpool because obviously, like, as we said, they're playing Manchester United this weekend. I do feel Liverpool, not that they're being slept on, because I don't think you can sleep on a team like Liverpool in terms of the league. They're first in the league at the moment. Not many people are talking about them. You know, I'm hearing a lot more talk about Aston Villa potentially, they outsiders to win the league and all of that stuff. But I do feel that Liverpool, we know what they're capable of going forward. Van Dijk seems to have found some form again after his injury. Could this be the year? I mean, City are fourth at the moment currently. We know Arsenal aren't winning the league, let's be honest. So let's remove that. They might be second, but is this the year that Liverpool win the league again?
It could be. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm happy you said it, because I said it on the weekend to one of my boys. I was like, hold on. Like, I don't think anyone is ignoring that Liverpool are there, but why are people not taking note that Liverpool they're clicking into gear? Like, there's something brewing here that, you know, you're not really taking notice of, because they're not conceding many goals.
Nope.
Defensively, they're good. Dominic Szoboszlai has walked into the team and eased in lovely.
Yeah.
There was a big worry amongst the Liverpool fans that I know anyway, about how Alexis McAllister would do as a number 6, and he's been playing fantastically well as a number 6. There's been little issue with him in that position. Endo has slowly improved. I still don't rate him highly, but he's starting to get in there and just do the job that he's supposed to do. Salah's still getting numbers. Darwin Núñez is hit and miss, of course. Us the other guys up top with them, but regardless, they're getting goals from all areas. Harvey Elliott pops in with a goal as well, or assist in games.
Yeah, scored a good one at the weekend as well.
They're doing what they need to do. And whether you want to say it's luck or whether you agree or disagree with what happened at Palace, concerning the red card, and obviously after the red card, they started getting their goals. So obviously it influenced the game in somewhat. Everyone needs their luck when they're in a title challenge. Every club has had it. So why are we not discussing Liverpool? But the way it is, bro, it's the focus. Everyone's still looking at City and saying, oh, what's happening to City? But City will eventually click. That's the biggest mistake you can make. And I always say, every team that's not won the title, anything that's won the title that's not been Man City since 2012, they don't concern themselves with what Man City's doing. They concern themselves with what they're doing. The last team to challenge, get close to a title and falter is Arsenal last year. And it annoyed me when I read comments off from their players saying, you know, we were winning games and we were happy, but we kept on getting annoyed because City kept on winning. I'm like, why are you looking at them?
Nah, man. If you're in the pole position, you got to look forward. You can't look back.
Look forward.
Yeah, man.
If you lose, you know someone's going to gain on you.
100.
That's normal. That's normal. But until then, target is at hand. Keep going because you're in pole position. Run it. City won. Okay, cool. We have to win again then, innit? But even if City don't win, open the gap. Like, it's just mentality, but that's what football is now. Man City, Man City, Man City. So when Liverpool are up there, if Liverpool do win the league, or Spurs, or Arsenal, or Villa, or whoever else you want to put in there, they'll be like, oh, that's a shock. But what happened to Man City? What the hell? What the hell? That's how you do football. But yeah, man, Liverpool are dangerous. And that's what I'm worried about this weekend. It's not the fact that, you know, Man United are bad. It's because that Liverpool have clicked and they're starting to get better week in, week out. No one's paying attention to it. Of course, if they smack us, then you'll see people start talking about Liverpool more.
Oh, yeah, of
but
course.
until then,
No, you're right
Until
there. You're
then,
right. You're right. I think the thing with Liverpool as well is, like you said, I mean, they've scored 36, conceded 15, lost once so far this season. So it tells
yeah.
you that, albeit they never had the best start, I think they drew a couple of games early on in the season, but they've picked up that momentum now. And they've done it at the most crucial part of the season where, and the good thing for them is as well, I feel them being in Europa this season has helped them a lot because I feel that
Mm.
they can just kind of go with their business. They're favourites, I think, to win that as well this year. But their attack is dangerous. Their
Very.
attack is so dangerous that even if you take one of them out, there's someone else that can come in and just fill that void for them, or they lose someone to an injury. I know McAllister, I think's out. I mean, there was pictures of him posted up on the internet with his knee and braces and all the rest of it. So I think he's going to be out for a lot longer. But I still don't think, like you just said, Slobosly's come in. Jones can fill in there. Harvey Elliott can play in that role sometimes as well. They got Endo that can fill there sometimes. I do still think they need a. I mean, I would be surprised if they don't dip into the market or try and dip into the market in the winter window and try and bring in another DM or maybe another centre back. I think they might need a bit of cover there.
Yeah.
I think their only worry for me, and I know I'm kind of contradicting myself by the fact they've only conceded 15, but I do feel that they are quite defensively weak at times. Not to say that those result to goals, the fact that they make some mistakes at the back, but I think they ride their luck a lot defensively.
I agree.
And obviously Trent moves into that role sometimes. Gomez, I can never make my mind up about whether he's just a good centre back or he's just a bit sort of Titus Brambley a little bit, where he kind of reminds me a bit like Titus Brambley. He switches off a bit too much at the wrong time as well. I can't decide. But look, they've got one of the best goalkeepers in the world. I think their attack is brilliant. They've got one of the best managers in the world as well. So you have to put them always in that conversation. I can't remember the last time we weren't really speaking about Liverpool, bar last season, where they weren't talking about them being in that title conversation. So I'd hate for them to win the league just because I remember how bad it was up here last time with the celebrations and how long they won it for. But it is what it is. And to be fair, they're playing some attractive football. So you have to give credit where credit is due to them. So
Yeah.
we shall have to see, man. But yeah, let's quickly talk about Villa as well. Because Villa are a team. I looked at Villa. I was watching Sky Sports News this morning, and they were talking about their signings that they brought in. And you know when you just sit there and you think, wow, my clubs have spent like close to £1 billion, and I don't think they've even spent 200 million. I don't think so. I think they brought in what's his name? I forgot his name already. Diaby. They brought in Diaby, Pau Torres. I think Tillemans was a free. Jacob Ramsey. Oh, they were talking about the midfield as well, just talking about Douglas Luiz and how their midfield's good. None of them are like over like 30, 40 millions worth of player. Do you know what I mean?
Even someone like Zaniolo.
Yeah, sorry,
Playing for cheap
Zaniolo was in there as well. Unai Emery has somehow got the best out of John McGinn. The best out of, like I said, Douglas Luiz. Leon Bailey's in form right now. Ollie Watkins, yeah, he's not scoring week in, week out, but he scores goals.
Yeah.
They seem to be working like a well-oiled machine right now. And I don't think they'll win the league. And I'm not going to say that. But I do think they're going to push Liverpool and the likes of Arsenal, whoever's in that 1 to 4. I feel like they're going to hold that position in the league. I feel that they could achieve Champions League football this season. Do you feel that that's an objective for them, or is it maybe an ambitious one for them to try and get into the Champions League?
No, it's not. It's not out of ambition, or rather a lack of ambition. They should be ambitious to get into the Champions League. I think they've got a good enough squad to get into it. If genuinely you look at other squads, I don't think they're that far off, or they can. I mean, I'd say right now Douglas Luiz can walk into a lot of midfields in the Premier League. I'd say even Leon Bailey. Talking about form, a lot of their players will get into a form table right now. Leon Bailey's in that. They're playing a good brand of football. They've got confidence, but the good thing is that they back the manager the right way. When Emery came in, had a good season, helped them recover from where they were to where they finished in the league, got them into Europe. But the most important thing that they've allowed him to do is, and that's that he's done as well, is, again, what we were talking about earlier about managers and make sure that they fit the system and it makes sense. And eventually, they've gone from scoring direct goals to now scoring build-up goals.
Yeah.
but they range from one to the other. And that's why they're successful, because you don't know who you're challenging. Look what they did to Man City, man. Man City had what, 2-3 shots in how many minutes? Like, you don't dominate City like that. You don't.
You're not supposed to anyway.
Yeah, naturally you're not supposed to. But they went out there, had more shots. Possession was close. Like, they were very much worth their salt money and won the game. And when they went to the Arsenal game, yes, they rode the luck a little bit as well in that one. Absolutely, there is a very debatable question behind the goal that's allowed. Regardless, they scored the goal that won them the game,
and that's all it comes down to.
There you go.
That's what it comes down to. When you take these little 1-0, this is what Arsenal were doing last season. You think back to Arsenal, they weren't playing the best football every weekend, but they got a 1-0. Do you know what I mean? They got the 3 points. And I think that's the difference with certain teams. You look at United, you look at Chelsea, you look at Spurs at the moment. I know they got a win recently, but before that win, you look at them, they're having mad dips in and out of form. Winning 2, losing 3, losing 1, winning 2. Do you know what I mean? So Villa, their home record at Villa Park, he's turned it into a fortress. I can't even lie. Unai, to think Steven Gerrard had pretty much almost the same team. Like I said, I think he's only brought in 5 players since Gerrard left, I think, or maybe 4. But to think he had this team and they were 17th and now they're 3rd in the league. This is what I was saying about Graham Potter. See, all them English managers, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this, all them English managers, they just, honestly, they end up getting these perfect jobs, and it just shows you can be a really good footballer. Frank Lampard, to put him in that conversation as well. Paul Scholes tried to do it, I think, didn't he, at like Macclesfield or something. Like, listen, you could be a good footballer. It don't mean you're a good manager. And Unai Emery, I remember I'm not saying that Arsenal fans criticised him throughout, but he got a lot of criticism when he was Arsenal manager. A lot of criticism. And now he's proven, with probably less facilities, that he can actually manage football clubs. He's done it at Sevilla as well. I think people discredit that a lot, what he done there. But he's a very good manager. A very, very top manager.
Absolutely.
We got to give him his credit, man. 100%. I do agree with you though. I think they can probably push into the Champions League this season. I think you look at some of the other teams around them. Tottenham, United is 6 at the moment. Newcastle, a lot of injuries as well. Brighton has struggled this season. Chelsea at 12th. So you look at who's in there, then I think, you have to put them in that conversation, in my opinion. But we shall have to see, man. But let's quickly do our predictions before we wrap up, as we always do. As I said, there's some big games coming up this week. We're going to start with Nottingham Forest, Tottenham. That is at the City Ground. That's on Friday. That's tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm going to go Tottenham 2-1.
Oh, 2-1. I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah,
I'm going to go 1-1. The City Ground's tough, I think, especially on a Friday night. I'd hate to play on a Friday night. I just think it's just a weird night to play.
Yeah, I agree.
Chelsea, Stamford Bridge, versus Sheffield United. Be honest, this one, man. Come on, be honest, man.
I'm trying to think, because Chris Wilder's come in, and
that's what I'm saying, man.
One loss, one win, but the win last time was last time out was really good. But I'm saying 2-1 Chelsea as well. Another tight one for you guys.
I'm gonna go 2-0 Sheffield United in that one. Yeah, no, don't, man. I'm real. I'm a realist, man. I can't see us winning.
No. I hear it. It still shocked me that you saw it.
Nah, man. Do you know what it is? I say it every week. I don't know where the goals are going to come from for Chelsea. Unless we get a penalty, it's very unlikely we're going to score 2 goals open play. So, and I hate not backing my team, but you got to read the room, man. See how shit we're playing. It's just there. The writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
Another game, Newcastle, Fulham, St James's Park. Difficult game for Newcastle last night in the Champions League. They went out, ended up rock bottom. 30 minutes before that, they were in the last 16 of the Champions League, and then PSG and the Dortmund game changed all of that. But this game here now, people are saying if Eddie Howe's, the pressure cooker's starting to build up for him now, obviously with the results in the Champions League, and they haven't really gone to form. But Fulham coming in, can you see them getting a win?
I can see Fulham getting a draw. But I think Newcastle will nick it. You know what? Let's go. That'll be another 2-1. I think that's another 2-1. Fulham will score. But I think you'll see probably maybe a Callum Wilson win or something like that.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna go through all of these because there's a couple of games where I just don't even think they're even worth watching, let alone talking about them. But I think Arsenal Brighton, that's on the Sunday. That's going to be a good game. I think I look at both teams and I think it's going to be a good game, man. I think Brighton might have a couple of injuries actually, but what's your thoughts on that? It's at the Emirates as well, so home advantage to Arsenal.
Oh, also the Emirates are always dangerous.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever thing we've had in the past, it's always troublesome at that stadium. So with that said, I think we're in for a 2-2 draw.
I agree with that. I agree. I'm going to go the same 2-2. Liverpool, Anfield, 57,000.
Yeah, man. Listen,
man, come on, man. United.
I'm not going to give you a score. Liverpool win.
I actually think Liverpool will win. I feel like I said their attack is very dangerous. I think I worry that it could be another 4-0, 5-0 big scoreline. I do. Just the way that Liverpool are playing. Not only sort of saving grace, I suppose, and again, Liverpool are playing tonight. United played the other night. It gives Liverpool slightly less time to prepare, but I do think they'll get that over the line.
Yeah, they're going to win. I'll say, okay, if you want me to switch for short scoreline, 3-1 Liverpool. There you go.
I know I killed you to do, but you know what I mean? The game is the game, man. The game is the game. I'm not going to do Bournemouth-Luton, although credit to Luton, they're doing very well. Burnley-Everton, that's Saturday, 5:30. Burnley, I think, have picked up a bit of form, if I remember correctly. I know they're still struggling.
Both teams are starting to pick up a little sight.
A win and a draw in the last 5 for Burnley, and 4 wins, 1 loss for Everton. They would actually be above Chelsea had they not got 10-point deduction. So shows you what Dyche is doing there.
I'm gonna say 2-1 Everton, and I think Burnley's old boys are gonna come back and do Everton. I think you're gonna see Dwight McNeil and Tarkowski get on the score sheet.
Oh, Dwight McNeil has been playing very well. Very, very well. Right, last one we're going to do is Brentford, Aston Villa. Wait, is that this weekend? It is, yeah. Brentford on Sunday, 2 p.m. So Brentford, obviously still without Ivan Toney. Villa, as we said, but this is at the Brentford Community Stadium, I think it's called. So this is a game that I think Brentford really need to win. But Villa, if they win this, we have to talk about them as a, I don't know, Champions League contender.
They are a Champions League contender, man. They are already, man. They are already. But I'm going to say they're going to win that 3-1.
3-1. I'm going to go 2-0 Villa. But yeah, I think we got a couple of games this weekend. And as I said, it all kicks off tomorrow. So make sure you tune into the Spurs game as well tomorrow. So yeah, man, as always, Kojo, been a pleasure. We'll be back next week, I'm sure, with another depressing episode about United and Chelsea. I'm joking, man. I'm joking. But no, it's always been a pleasure. We'll definitely been infrequent, if that's the right word, with the episodes the last couple of weeks. So we'll get back to them. Don't forget to hit the Linktree link in the description. Make sure you subscribe, like, share the video, all of that stuff as well. And we'll be back next week with another episode, man. Thank you very much for watching.